MrBeast actively lied to millions
MrBeast has
of
been
people.
receiving
Not
a
making a
lot of
single statement.
backlash.
Not saying
He
a thing
needs
about
to
it.
come
Now
out
cease
and
desisting
rectify the
people.
mistake.
He needs to respond. This is bullshit.
No, actually he doesn't. And if he does, he's an idiot. If you've been on YouTube recently and you don't live under a rock, you've probably heard all about the allegations facing MrBeast. MrBeast has mostly been staying completely silent. Now, there are tons of YouTubers who have been saying he just needs to come out and say something. But here's the problem. These people don't know a damn thing about branding or marketing. The reason MrBeast has been silent up until now is because he's not stupid. This isn't the first time he's faced this kind of controversy, and MrBeast knows what he's doing. That's why he's never gotten canceled up until now. There's 4 main reasons why a MrBeast apology right now would be idiotic, and we'll dive into those in a second. If you stick to the end, I'm also going to share with you one way MrBeast could address what's going on right now and still get out alive, even though I think an apology would be the stupidest thing he could do. For those of you who don't know me and are wondering why the hell should I listen to this guy, my name is Zaki Ahmed and I'm a brand and marketing strategist, and I've been helping clients grow their brands for years. This is literally my bread and butter. From an actual branding and marketing perspective, an apology video is the single worst thing MrBeast could do. Reason number 1, the vast majority of MrBeast's audience has no idea about these scandals that are going on right now. To you, it might seem like everybody's talking about it because if you were served up this video by YouTube, chances are you've been watching other videos talking about everything that's been coming out. And the more you watch those videos, the more you engage with them, the more of them YouTube is serving to you. But if we look at the top videos from MrBeast's critics, even the recent exposés that came out from Dogpack404, his ex-employee, the most any of those videos are getting are maximum a couple million views, maybe a little over 10 million views. Meanwhile, MrBeast's videos, including his most recent 2, are easily getting hundreds of millions of views. MrBeast is on this whole other level in terms of the attention he commands versus everybody else who's trying to throw shade his way right now. If he was to come out with a video addressing it, he would be bringing a lot more attention to everything that's going on and driving away a lot of his fan base, many of which are either unaware of everything happening or they simply don't care, or they're just not equipped to understand the gravity of it because a lot of them are kids. We can see up until now, MrBeast has been doing his best to try and stay silent. There are some rumors that he is going to come out and say something. He told that to his friend Ludwig, but this is MrBeast's go-to strategy, and it's a very smart strategy when you're faced with these kind of dilemmas. The only reason I think MrBeast might say something is that he doesn't want to lose connections to certain YouTubers who are demanding some kind of statement from him. For that reason, it might be in his interest to say something, but it's not going to be an apology video on YouTube. It's going to have to be something else, and I'll talk a little bit more on that as we get towards the end of this video. Reason number 2, you have to look at the kind of content MrBeast uploads to YouTube. Because his videos aren't like this one where I'm just talking to the camera, sharing my opinions, he doesn't really have a good platform to even upload an apology video in the first place. If he was to upload some kind of apology video or statement to his channel, it would be this major interruption to the regular format of content that his audience is used to watching, which makes that first issue that I brought up even more pronounced because people would be paying attention way more to this video apology that's so different than all of his other content versus if he normally already had that type of content on his channel where he's just talking to his audience and sharing his thoughts with them, and then this video just happened to be another one of those that blended in with everything else where he happened to maybe say something about the situation. This is why if MrBeast does decide to address the situation, which I think he might, he's gonna have to be very strategic about how he does it and make sure to approach it in the way that I'll mention a little bit later here in this video. Reason number 3, the other thing we have to think about with all of this is how bad is this situation for MrBeast really in the long run? If you've been consuming a lot of content about the scandal, I get why people are saying this looks like it's the end of MrBeast. But aside from the fact that most of his audience isn't even aware of what's going on, the nature of controversies like this is that if he doesn't address it, there's typically something else that's going to come out and steal people's attention after a little while because people want some kind of response. When people are leaving comments on MrBeast's channel, they want to get some kind of response from him. And most of the time, if a creator or a celebrity is faced with this kind of backlash, they just ignore it for long enough. Then once the next big news story comes out or big scandal that takes away everybody's attention, it kind of gets swept under the rug, people forget, and over time, you might get a couple haters here and there who will say something on your videos, but most of the people who are hating on you moved on to paying attention to something else. And that's literally what happened for MrBeast for every other scandal he's ever faced over the past 10 odd years. So no matter how bad the situation might look for MrBeast right now, from a branding standpoint, the question we need to ask ourselves is how permanent is it really? And is it actually negatively affecting his views and his influence in a long-term meaningful way beyond just our perceptions? If we look here on the stats for MrBeast's YouTube channel over the past month, he's been adding 1.16 million subscribers per week. For his TikTok account, in the past 30 days, he added 700,000 new followers. On top of that, the easiest way for us to get a good idea of how his own audience is responding is by just looking at the comments on his most recent YouTube videos. Here's one he uploaded just 12 days ago. Most of his audience are talking about stuff that have nothing to do with all the shit that's coming out about MrBeast. And this is most of MrBeast's audience. Like I said, they're not aware of what's going on, and if they are aware, they don't really care. They're just watching the content, enjoying it, and it ain't that deep for them. Now, with all that said, we can't get a 100% objective answer on how this is all going to play out long term. But let's even assume the backlash is so heavy that we can say, yeah, MrBeast should come out with some kind of statements. The next question we have to ask ourselves, and this is reason number 4 of why I don't think it's smart for him to do an apology, is how much of a positive difference will an apology even make? If we go through YouTube history and look at every creator who's ever put out an apology video, I guarantee you in 99% of cases, at least the ones I'm aware of, it never panned out well for them. And there's a reason behind that. When something like what's going on with MrBeast happens, the biggest, most vocal voices coming out against you are not people from your actual fan base, but they're people who already hated you and wanted to see your downfall and are just using this instance as an opportunity to hate and criticize you publicly. Most of the folks talking shit about MrBeast right now weren't diehard fans of MrBeast in the first place anyways. They might not have even watched many MrBeast videos at all before this whole scandal, which means it's not going to win back the people that he lost from his fan base, and it's never going to win the people who weren't in his fan base anyways because they weren't fans of his to start with. The only thing that an apology video can do for him is give his critics even more ammunition to crucify him with, because by doing an apology video, he's basically making it an admission that everything you guys alleged against me is true. And because these people are already convinced that MrBeast is a sociopath, he's not a good person, he's not genuine, when he does the apology video, almost certainly what's going to happen is the same people who are demanding the apology video are going to find something wrong with it. And this is what we see all the time with influencers who come out with apology videos. Their critics then come out saying that apology didn't look really sincere, or I can't believe they said this thing, or they didn't say this thing. And then all of a sudden that apology video becomes a whole new source for the scandal, and the scandal gets blown up even larger than it was beforehand. All of the people from within their fan base who had no idea about these allegations are now made aware. And that's why oftentimes it's actually the apology video that ends up putting the nail in the coffin for their career. This is why, in my opinion, MrBeast apologizing right now would be an idiotic move. That said, I do think there is a high likelihood that he's going to at least address it because his hands are kind of forced. Right now, MrBeast isn't an individual creator like I am or most YouTubers are, because his brand has grown so huge that he has stakeholders. He's an entire company. Now, the way that I think MrBeast is going to respond, and the smart way from a branding perspective, is to not come out with an apology video, but instead address everything off of the YouTube platform. And he needs to be really smart about what he says, which I have no doubt he will be, because he has branding consultants, a legal team to help him make sure he isn't fucking himself with whatever statement he comes out with. But that's the main thing he has to keep in mind. He's got to make sure to address it off the platform, because that's the only way he could appease the people who are forcing him to say something he actually cares about without having as much of a negative impact on his own fan base here on YouTube. In terms of tactically how he's probably going to go about that, I went a little bit more in depth in the last video I uploaded to my channel, covering the cult tactics that MrBeast has used over the last 10 years to brainwash his fans and become the most influential creator in the history of YouTube. You can go check out that video over here. With that said, I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Do you think it would be stupid of MrBeast to address this whole scandal in any way, or do you think that I missed something? Maybe I got something wrong. Maybe there's something I'm not taking into account in the whole thing. What do you think MrBeast needs to do if he wants to come out of all of this alive? Drop a comment below. Let me know. See you in the next video. Peace out.